Hello everyone, Blaze here. Welcome to my first inaugural manga haul for this channel. These won't be on a month-by-month basis, kind of like I do with the anime stuff, because anime is always going to be my main focus. I'll always be picking up a lot more anime than manga. But manga, it'll be just a case of, this is what I have, and well, basically when I have enough stuff to show, I will show it, but until then I'll wait. So they'll be on probably a bi-monthly basis at the most, I'd imagine. But anyway, so, getting into manga, finally, in 2016, I wanted to start with basically the god of manga himself, Osamu Tezuka. I read two of his manga last year online. I read Ode to Kirihito, which I don't have yet. I also read Apollo's Song, which we'll be seeing in a minute. Really enjoyed his style. Basically, both of those stories of the Gekiga style, the seinen movement back in like the 60s in the manga industry. And they were both Osamu Tezuka's first or early works in that style. But so I wanted to start getting Osamu Tezuka stuff. First thing I'm going to show, I got 6 Osamu Tezuka manga here. The first thing I showed you, I've been waiting on for a while. It's one of the digital manga publishing Kickstarter mangas. This one isn't a Gekiga. This is one of Osamu Tezuka's kids' work, and that is Storm Fairy. And look at that cover. How gorgeous is that? I've got the spine and the back. So basically, this is a collection of 3 short stories. We've got Storm Fairy, Kokeshi Detective Agency, and Pink Angel. I'm guessing that Storm Fairy is the longest of the stories in here, given that it's what the collection is named after. And these are very much of the Astro Boy-ish character designs and stuff. It's very much, like the what is it called? Like the Wonderful Free or whatever that thing's called. This is another one that Digital Manga Publishing tried to print. So yeah, Digital Manga Publishing, they do Kickstarters, mainly for Osamu Tezuka manga, and sometimes like Shonen Ai Yaoi stuff as well. But so this is, I haven't read this one yet. This one literally only came yesterday, which is why I haven't read it yet. Although, saying that, I've only read 2 of the ones I'm about to show you, I think. But, no, 3 actually, but anyway. So yeah, we've got Storm Fairy. I don't really have too much else to say about that right now, since obviously I haven't read it yet. Here's another one I haven't read, but I'm really excited to read, and this one is called MW, I think. I'm not quite sure if that's exactly how you pronounce the name, but yeah, MW. Osamu Tezuka, this is a vertical release. It does read left to right, so it's mirrored, unfortunately, but this is possibly Osamu Tezuka's most celebrated Gekiga manga. It's certainly his darkest from what I've read of the synopsis and just general reaction to it. It follows the story of, after an MW incident, as it's called, one of the outskirt islands of Japan is attacked by poisonous gas, and it follows the story of Yuki, and I think the other guy is called Gurai, I think. You've got young Yuki who grows up to be a sociopath. He survives this poisonous attack. It's obviously affected him in some way. And Gurai, who's a Catholic priest, who also survived the attack. So Yuki is basically, as I said, like, he's a sociopath. He is a murderer, like serial killer. Basically, he's very twisted. Just go there. And it's basically follows the relationship between him and this Catholic priest, and it does descend into a homosexual relationship, from what I'm aware. And that happens pretty early on, so it's not like a major spoiler or anything. I think it happens in like the first 50 or so pages, and this is like a 600 page manga, but it gets really dark from what I'm aware, because it follows basically the crimes that Yuki commits, like these violent crimes, and the strain it has on the relationship between him and the Catholic priest. It's very reminiscent of the just the attitude of like many. It's clearly it follows the attitude basically of what Japan was like in the mid to early 70s, where there were a lot of student riots. Obviously, this was a nation that had lost a war like 20. I think that would have been about 20 years prior or 30 years prior, around that sort of range. But and obviously it was a country under occupation from America, so there was a lot of stress and stuff going on between the older generation and the younger generation, as times in Japan were certainly changing and different ideas and stuff. And yeah, Osamu Tezuka obviously explores a lot of that in this, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's basically a thriller. It's certainly known as Osamu Tezuka's darkest and most twisted work. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So that's that. Next up, we got another digital manga publishing one. This one I got as an add-on for something else I supported later on. This one was kickstarted a long time ago, but it's recently been re-released with a much more high quality paper. So it's a much higher quality print. So yeah, this is Swallowing the Earth. This follows like another Osamu Tezuka theme, like one of his ongoing themes about just the empowerment and enchantment and control that women can have over men, and it's kind of like an old-fashioned way of looking at it, sort of like in the same way as like noir does it, like with the femme fatales and all that sort of thing. But in this case, it's also, you've got that, but you've also got it mixed in with another thing that I've noticed in quite a few of Tezuka's works, which is Greek mythology. In this one, basically some soldiers. World War II, two Japanese soldiers, hero of Zephyrus, an utterly captivating woman rumoured to exist on an island in the South Pacific. Tales of a bold enchantress, seducing men to their dooms are both chilling and fascinating. So it's very like noir themes there. And then yeah, it basically takes place in the future as Zephyrus has reappeared in Japan, and it follows what's his name, Seki, who's the son of one of the soldiers that had heard about Zephyrus back in World War II. And yeah, just follows that as he tries to track her down and figure out what's going on. As yeah. So that's Swallowing the Earth. I have read the first like chapter or so of this, but that's only as far as I've got. I haven't returned to it yet. I plan to pretty soon. It will be the next manga I read. But yeah, I've been busy watching anime at the moment. But anyway, yeah, so Osamu Tezuka's Swallowing the Earth. This beautiful edition from Digital Manga Publishing. Okay, so next up we have Barbara. This is another Digital Manga Publishing release. I love the cover on this one. The cover on this is the main reason why I read this one so quickly. Is because it just looks amazing. A really nice mix of 60s art design with 70s colour. Yeah, so this is another 1970s series from Osamu Tezuka. It's another Gekiga type series, or very Gekiga. It's pretty dark, pretty twisted, maybe not as much as MW, but yeah, it follows the story of a famous author called Mikura. I think he's like Yosuke Mikura or something, who, yeah, young author in Japan, like fictional, but yeah, young author in Japan who's basically pretty popular, but he's also pretty twisted. Like, he has very dark sexual fetishes and stuff, and is in general not a very nice person. And he basically ends up, as he's going through Shibuya, he ends up meeting this girl called Barbara, who ends up becoming his muse. He takes her home, and she becomes his muse, and she's basically a homeless drunk who is very free-spirited and you know, on the edge between, you know, exciting and, you know, free love for all, as well as just like slowly going down the gutter and destroying herself and anyone who's around her. And yeah, as a combination, they're pretty bombastic with each other. It gets pretty dark, pretty crazy. The first half or so of this manga, or the first third, is kind of just weird stories that don't really lead to anything. But then about halfway through, some revelations get made about Barbara that really kicks off the narrative, and it kind of pulls it all the way through to the end at that point. There's stuff about the occult in here, and the relationship between Barbara and Mikura gets really interesting. Mikura's character gets much more interesting toward the end. He's not likable. He's never likable. You can somewhat sympathize occasionally, but for the most part, he's just a very dark-minded, on the verge of insanity towards the end individual. But it's no less captivating and interesting a read. I would highly recommend it, obviously. It's not great. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to necessarily blow your mind. It'd be something you would consider one of the best things you've ever read. But it's so interesting and so strange that just for that alone, I recommend trying it out. The artwork is also not of a childlike nature. It's got the much more mature art style that Tezuka does for most of his Gekiga stuff. It looks really nice. It's printed on this really nice paper as well. So yeah, that's Barbara. Next up, we've got Clockwork Apple. This is a series of 8 short stories, all with, according to the back at least, several creepy, suspenseful short stories that ran between 1968 and 1973. I've read all these already. I really liked most of what was in here, and the ones I wasn't crazy about weren't bad by any means. They just weren't amazing, but some of them are really good. Like the first one's really good. It's about basically when a Nazi lieutenant is sentenced to death for war crimes, he expects to escape with his life, but hubris is his downfall. That one was really cool. I had some really like, again, these are all like 30 or 40 page stories. That one had a really good ending. Second one was kind of like okay, not particularly interesting. The best one though is the one that has all these black pages and the black borders, which is basically a thriller that would work as a pretty good film. In fact, it's kind of a story that you have heard before, so I may have even seen something, a film or something too that has this sort of story in it. But basically, a married man finds out his city is being experimented on. He tries to save the people while struggling with adulterous thoughts, which is a weird thing to add in there because I don't really particularly remember that too much. Well, I guess I guess I do. But yeah, it's just really cool as this town he lives in, or city, just becomes completely isolated and cut off from the world, and it's just and everyone's being brainwashed around him, and he's the only one that's seemingly still sane. And yeah, it's just how he tries to escape and help the people of his town. The ending's sort of anticlimactic, but it was pretty good. Number 4 is a nice short one as well. On the dark and lonely road, a cabbie picks up a shady man who threatens him, but little does his passenger know the cabbie is not as he seems. Kind of like a pretty simple thriller, horror-ish story, but really well done. An educated man falls in love with an elusive woman who has a life-altering secret. That one is really, really has one hell of an ending. Like, I don't really want to say more than that, but just you will not even begin to guess where that ends up going towards the end. Like, it sets it up, and you kind of go, okay, I understand what's going on, but the actual ending to it is quite dark, and tragic, but also creepy. It's pretty amazing. Maybe the best story in the book, or at least it has the best ending. I think my favourite is probably the 7th one. A revolutionary fails his revolution. And, wow, that actually hasn't been finished. That sucks. The synopsis for the 7th one just says, a revolutionary fails his revolution, and it doesn't say anything else. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, yeah, it's about this guy. Japan has like a dystopian government, and he tries to assassinate. He's asked and tries to assassinate. That's my computer. He tries to assassinate the current prime minister, fails, but ends up getting revenge on the people that made him fail. And he does it in a really awesome way. It's really cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, American school kids learn the cruelty of war is super fucking dark. Like, that was worth a swear word for that one. The ending to that, holy crap. So yeah, these are all really, really cool. This is totally worth a read if you can find this copy, or read it online if you like. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed this. For I think I read one a day for a week, and it was totally worth it. This is the one that I backed and ended up getting Barbara and Swallowing the Earth added as add-ons. But yeah, Osamu Tezuka's Clockwork Apple, which yes, that is a play on Clockwork Orange from Stanley Kubrick's film and the novel, the British novel. So finally, I picked up, as I said at the beginning of this video, Apollo's Song. This is another vertical release. Again, it's reads right, left. left to right. It reads left to right. So yeah, it is mirrored, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the complete Apollo song, rather than it got released in 2 volumes as well. But yeah, this is the complete version. This is really, really cool. Again, it kind of has like the Greek goddess thing going on in it, and the empowerment of women and enchantingness they can have on men and stuff, but also the reverse of that as well, because this follows the story of Shogo, who is quite a twisted young man. He is basically just completely disinterested in love to the point of it makes him feel sick, and it brings out violent tendencies in himself. And this is due to the way he was brought up and just the fact how he came into being, I guess. And yeah, at one point he's like getting to the point where he is murdering animals when they show any expressions of love, and he ends up murdering this hen, and that's when the police come in and they put him into a mental institute. He ends up receiving shock, like electroshock therapy, and in the process of that happening, he ends up having an out of body experience. He comes to an audience with a Greek goddess of wisdom, Athena, and she sets him on these trials. He will experience love and death and all that 7 times in seven different time periods. And basically, through that story, we get the Shogo learning about love and trying to come to trying to come to terms with all the things that's happened in his life, and etc., etc., etc. I probably didn't explain it very well, but that is what it's about, and it's really freaking good. This is the second Osamu Tezuka manga I ever read, and yeah, I'm really happy to find this copy of it. I ended up getting it off eBay because this is out of print. I think all of it is out of print. Like, you can still get part 2 of the 2 volumes relatively easy. I think part 1 is really hard to come by, or it might be the other way around. But yeah, this is also relatively hard to come by, but I got a cheap eBay auction on it, and it's in really good condition. Yeah, so that's it. All the stuff I picked up for, well, my first manga haul. Like I said, I'm not going to do these on a monthly basis. This is the first time I've ever done this, so I don't know if this is a particularly great video. I'll think about how to do this in the future. It's probably a long video, but yeah, I don't know if it's probably better for me to just quickly show you each stuff I picked up, and then in the future do reviews on each of these and talk about them more in depth then, rather than now. But anyway, yeah, so this is my first foray into manga in terms of purchases. I do have 2 more manga coming pretty soon, but I don't think I'll be doing a video where I want to at least have 4 things to show. So yeah, that's probably going to be the next time I do something, is when I have at least 4 new manga to add to the collection. But yeah, that's the first one of these I've ever done. I don't know how good it was, as I said, so any sort of feedback would be appreciated. And yeah, go out and read some Osamu Tezuka manga, guys, if you haven't. Like, I know I'm not experienced in manga in any way, but yeah, I've noticed that a lot of manga collections I've watched on YouTube and stuff, very few people seem to have Osamu Tezuka stuff, and I don't know if that's just because of its old-fashioned style, but you should totally try some of it out, like, beyond, like, the children's Astro Boy stuff. Like, check out some of this Gekiga stuff. Like, it's really, really cool. And his children's stuff is pretty cool as well. I've read Buddha, that's the first volume of Buddha, which is a children-like story, I'm pretty sure, and I've also read a couple of chapters of Unico, the little unicorn thing, and that was really cool as well. It also had a lot of Greek mythology in it, just like a lot of his stuff has, like I said. But anyway, I'm just rambling on now, so yeah, I've been Blaze, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon for more anime pickups, more manga stuff, and I have also other stuff to show you that's different to those as well pretty soon. So yeah, I'm Blaze, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Another something I've been meaning to pick up and add to the collection for a long, long time. This is a really awesome horror mystery series.